Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to One Dish, Two Ways. And I'm Sheila, and my husband Joe normally is behind the camera, but he's outside doing some yard work while it's nice. So today we're going to do a play on one of my favorite dishes of things that you get from the market when the new potato season is in: fresh green beans and Vidalia onions. And normally, you put it all in the pot with the water and broth and seasonings and you boil it. And that is wonderful. It is very good. But I wanted to do a play on that, and I love sheet pan dinners, so I decided we would do it as a sheet pan today. So we got the oven on 425, and I've already rinsed the potatoes, and I'm cutting them into like 1-inch cubes. Don't have to do much. If you have smaller potatoes, you may only just have to cut them in half. And I've got 2 pounds of the new potatoes here. That's what they were when we got them at the store. And they need to cook a little bit longer than the green beans and the onions. So that's why they're going to go on first. So I've got here in my bowl all the 2 pounds cut up. And now I need to add my seasoning. Again, I don't need any oil. I have a silicone mat here on my baking sheet. This is a half sheet pan. And we're going to start adding our seasoning. So I'm keeping it super simple so the flavors really will come out of this dish. So we've got Italian seasoning here. I'm going to put half the seasoning on the potatoes and then put half the seasoning on the onions and green beans. So I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of garlic. Oop, there we go. And I'm going to do just half a teaspoon of, just 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Oh, no, that's bad. Okay, I'm going to set this off to the side because I need to get that in there. I got a half teaspoon in there, 1 teaspoon of it. And then I got some pepper. And I'm just going to put the pepper in until I'm satisfied with that. And then I'm going to give it a big stir. Now, there's a little bit of residual water on these because I, rinsed them. And so that's going to help the coating stick. In addition to, once the potatoes start cooking and they release their natural juices, then that's going to help to start roasting and keep those seasonings on. So let's dump it onto our tray. Spread it out nicely because you want to have room for them to actually have room to roast. And then they're going to go in the oven for 20 minutes. And while they're in the oven, what I'm going to work on is cutting my onion. I haven't decided a half or a whole yet. I'm just going to see once I cut into it. Obviously, I need to put the paprika back in here. And then I'm going to finish drying these off. And then I'm going to get the tips cut off. And I'm probably going to cut them in half because we do tend to like our green beans a little more tender. And so when I come back in 20 minutes, I'll show you how I cut these. We'll add them to the tray and we'll put them back in. So we'll see you in just a few minutes. I'm back. So it's been 20 minutes and these things smell amazing. So hopefully you can see them in the camera. And I just want to show you, they're definitely not all the way done. There is still quite a bit of resistance to go through, but they only need another 20 minutes. And one other thing I noticed is it seems like they have a lot of seasoning, and this was 2 pounds. So I originally said I was going to do half the seasoning on them and half on there. I'm not doing that. I'm going to do half of what I put here onto here, not double what I did. So that's what I'm going to do. So I only need a teaspoon of some of these items. So I need a teaspoon of the garlic. Perfect. And I need a teaspoon of the Italian seasoning. And just a tad of the paprika, just a half a teaspoon. There we go. And then the pepper. So I didn't explain it in the beginning. For those that have not seen our channel before, the reason we have a channel is because I had to start eating whole food plant-based. Well, not had to. I chose to cure my migraines, which is working. My husband eats a standard American diet, and we thought there seems to be a lot of people that have trouble when members of the household eat differently. And we want to show you that it's really not that different or that difficult. So in this case, it's one dish that we're both going to be able to eat. And when we take it out of the oven, we'll show you how we're going to each serve it. Because obviously we're going to each eat it differently. He'll pair it with meat and I'll pair it with salad. But Yeah, it's just really not as hard as what a lot of people think it is. And so that's what we try to show you on our channel. So I will tell you that when I got off camera and I'll put the potatoes in, I started cutting the green beans with a knife, cutting the ends off. And I thought, no, I don't need to do that. And the house was quiet. And I started snapping the beans. And I just brought me back to my childhood, sitting on my grandma's back deck, snapping the beans. So I'm curious, did you snap beans with anybody when you were a kid? Put that in the comment below. Let's pay homage to those people that taught us how to do that, because that's such a good memory. All the time you spent with sometimes as grandparents, sometimes as aunts and uncles, just those elders. So back to the beans. So now they got these coated, and now we're going to add these. And I ended up going with the whole onion just because I really like onion, especially those Vidalia sweet onions. And so we're just going to lay these green beans kind of on top of the potatoes. There was room on the plate. So guess what we're going to do is we're just going to spread this out. Now, if you wanted to double or triple, just put it on extra trays, and that would work just fine. The other thing nice about this meal is if somebody is on a very restrictive diet and they need to measure out how many potatoes or how many green beans, they can easily pick around this. Now, if they're a no-touching food person, then this will not work, and you might have to do it in separate pans. But we don't have that in our case, and so this is going to be just fine, and Joe can pick around how many potatoes he wants, how many green beans. The nice thing is we're not obviously going to eat this in one meal. That means leftovers. So I always like that, a little bit of food prep. So I'm going to put this back in the oven for 20 minutes, and then we'll be back to give it a try and let you know what's going on. See you then. Hey guys, welcome back. It has been another 20 minutes, and I took these out. I did stir them a little bit. Joe has come in from doing all his work, and now it's time to give this bad boy a try. So I'm serving it with a side of some greens with tomatoes, green onions, sprouts, and a little bit of like a homemade sauce. And you're probably just going to have leftover meat with it, right?
Probably.
Yeah. So let's give these a try. They're nice. You can see the brown. I'm going to start with the potato. And then I'm going to start with the green bean. Thoughts on this versus the boil?
Tastes fresh.
Yes.
I will say the oven kind of dried them out a little bit, which is fine for the potatoes and onions, but the beans are a little, maybe they still need to be cooked a little more. Maybe pre-cook these for a little bit.
So you don't think 20, because they were in there for 20 minutes on 425.
So not so al dente, I guess is the right word.
But for leftovers, they're going to heat up just fine.
True.
So there's the positive there.
But other than that, they're fine. Flavor of the seasoning is all good.
It was Italian seasoning, paprika, pepper, and garlic. So there you go. It's that easy. Everybody gets their side dish, and then you got the leftovers. So let me know in the comments, number one, who were you snapping beans with when you were a kid? Those are such great memories. And would you give this dish a try? And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.